What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Existential Stoic podcast. Do you ever struggle negotiating with others, or do you want things you just don't ask? Maybe you're not getting what you think you're actually worth. Well, today you're in luck because this quick fix, we're going to talk about how to negotiate. I'm Danny. I'm here with my buddy Randy. What's up, Randy?
What's up, Danny? We're going to be talking about the art of the deal today.
Oh, the art of the deal.
Wheeling
Wasn't it?
and dealing.
What was that?
That was
What was
Trump's
the art
book,
of the
The Art of the
deal?
Deal.
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
funny.
I mean, I've read it a long time ago. It was a good book on negotiation, and there's a bunch of other good books on negotiation
Or
too.
something.
We say
Wasn't
it
it like a
again?
video series? Wasn't there videos or something that went with that? Or it was a
Probably,
long time ago. I don't even.
probably. There's a whole bunch of books on negotiation. I read a whole bunch of them. There was actually, I wish I could remember the name of it because there's out of all of them, there was one book on negotiation that was like blew them all away. But maybe by the end, I'll remember the name of it.
Yeah, if not, maybe we can throw it in the thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we each have some tips for you guys. Hopefully this will help you, in your negotiations in the future. I'm going to start. So first one is I think, you need to know what you want before even entering the situation. I think this is where a lot of people struggle. They don't know, what they want in terms of like maybe it's a salary, maybe it's, what they're going to pay for something, whatever. But if you know exactly what you want, you're in a position where you can actually get that.
That's really important because if you don't know what you actually want, then you don't, you can't. It's kind of like playing poker and not knowing what your hand is because then you don't know
Yeah.
how best to play it. Like, because basically negotiation is very similar to poker. You have to bluff, you have to do all this stuff. And if you don't know what your hand is, then you're playing blind. That's a good one.
Yeah.
My first one is make an outrageous first offer. So what that does is it basically just like reframes the other person's point of view. So then they're more likely to err in the side of what you're asking for. This is something that, Trump does all the time where he makes some ridiculous first statement and then he kind of backpedals a little bit. But by doing that, it makes people more likely to come towards his direction.
Yeah, you like kind of change the way people are thinking about it by being outrageous in that way, right? You're making like this grand statement and then it shifts everybody's thinking and now you're kind of lean that way either way. I like that. It's a good idea. It's a good way to start high. All right, my next one is don't be afraid to ask because you won't get it if you don't. And here I was thinking, especially like, one of the number one statistics I always see is that people, that aren't getting raises and stuff or aren't getting paid what they're worth, it's because they haven't asked. They haven't actually bothered to ask for it. And it's funny, I remember an actual example is someone I knew in the past is applying for jobs. And I told them, I was like, why don't you ask for, a signing bonus or something? Because they didn't think it was a good enough, wage. And I was like, ask for more and ask for that. And they're like, well, what if, I was like, just try. Who cares? What's the worst that can happen?
Mm-hmm.
And they got it. Because it's like, at the end of the day, it's just a matter of setting that bar where you want it.
Yeah, like Gretzky says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, same thing because that's like literally your biggest bang for your buck in terms of how much you can make in your salary is during the actual salary negotiation because you're not going to make that much in raises. The only opportunity you have is like that moment of asking for it. So you got to just go big.
Well, and you set it too, right? I mean, from there on out, you set how your raises are going to be and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes it so much worthwhile. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny.
absolutely. So my second one is find out what the other person really wants. And I think this is important because I mean, my first one I was saying outrageous first offer. Well, if you believe that outrageous first offer is what they want, that's going to put you in a different position than if you understand what they actually want and what's actually important to them. Because it could turn out that what's important to them really is nothing to you, and then you can even use that as a bargaining chip. So really trying to discover what it is that's important to them and what they want to get out of the negotiation, because that's going to help you negotiate a lot better. And
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
and I also remember the name of that book. It's called Never Split the
What?
Difference. So like,
Oh,
oh my goodness, this negotiation book like blows the pants off of anything else. If you ever want to read anything in negotiation, just read Never Split the Difference and flush every other book down the toilet.
nice. Good advice. I like that one.
I think
What
number
was your
three for
tip?
you. Mine was
Yeah, my tip.
mine was find out what the other person really wants.
Oh, right. Yeah. No. I think that's good though. I was just gonna say because I remember listening to when we were talking about how I built this, and so a lot of those companies are bought later, right? And on a lot of cases, a lot of the people that are founders, they want to stay on and they want to have some stake in it. And when people know that going in to negotiate with them to buy it, it makes a big difference in how they, because that changes everything. Because if you know the person really still wants to stay, they're not looking to leave, that changes that whole dynamic in how you negotiate. I think that's an important thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. My last one is confidence in your own value, because I think that this is crucial. Like actually believing that you're worth what you're saying you're worth, or actually believing that, you're going to deliver what you're going to deliver. Whatever it is, you have to actually believe it. Otherwise, people can tell. I think, there's a point at which obviously bluffing and, exaggerating things like that, but actually knowing what you're worth is a starting point that you have to have.
Yeah, and don't sell yourself short, because that's something that we do all the time is we sell ourselves short left and right. And that's like if you don't believe it, who else is going to believe it? But
Dude, how many people are in jobs that they don't want? It's
yeah.
like,
But you got to start looking for areas where you do have an edge, and just like remembering that even though it seems normal to you because that's your proficiency, it's not normal. Like you're actually well beyond most people, but it just feels normal to you because that's your normal. Yeah.
yeah,
So that brings me to my last one, which is always be willing to walk away. So the person who wants it least usually ends up winning in a
yeah,
negotiation. And you see this all the time with like people who are just drooling over something before they even start talking
yeah,
price. And it just ends up being a mess. Whereas like if you can walk away, then the other person has no power in the negotiation because they've
yeah,
already lost. So if you maintain walking power, it's difficult to do when there is something that you really want, but just realize that, maybe it's not the right time for you to have it. Maybe you need to walk away first to get it. Maybe you don't actually need it, So like there's a whole bunch of different
yeah.
things going on.
Yeah, no, if you're willing to walk away too, I think you get it, you get both what you want, but you also get it at, the right value for you, whatever that is. And I think that's crucial too. It's a good one. That's probably like
Yeah.
probably the most important, I think, is being able to walk away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also always found that worked really well with girls, where like if they were like they're not interested, I would just be like, okay, fine, I'm leaving, bye. And it like
Yeah.
because most other guys would just like beg them and plead them and whatever, and I'd just be like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go do my own shit. Like, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
And it really like having walk away power is really good.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. It does. So
Mhm.
that's it then. Those are our tips for how to negotiate. Check us out later this week with a full-length episode. Watch us on YouTube, listen wherever you get your podcast. Like, subscribe, share. It helps us out a lot. But until then, later, Andy.
Later, Danny.